Hi, group leaders. I just wanted to send this out to you today to talk a little bit about coaching. We briefly mentioned it at the group leader training, and we've partnered you up with some of the new home group leaders. I so appreciate your help in this because it's going to be critical this year that we have the support and infrastructure in place so that we can continue to expand home groups. One of the things that I'd like you to consider is having a weekly check-in with the person that you're matched with. And I've provided some resources and tools for you. This is a book, Leadership Coaching, which probably gives one of the most concise and simplest models for home group leaders to help people process through what are my goals and how do I move forward on them. And then this small book, Coaching Small Groups, is specifically as it pertains to home groups. And then this is a planner that we've developed to help track those goals and help you keep track of the person's what they would like to work on in several different areas. We talked about 4 different areas at the home group leader meeting. 3 of them have to do with the 3 purposes of home groups: the connecting with one another, changing toward Christ-likeness, and then cultivating a heart for the lost. And the 4th area is just a personal goal that someone might like to work toward. I have here Malcolm Kirk. He is a home group leader, and he's also a seminary student. What school do you go to?
I go to Corbin University School of Ministry, Northwest Campus here in Tacoma.
Great. And you've agreed to kind of model this a little bit so that the home group leaders get a sense of what we're asking them to do without going through extensive another meeting, that kind of thing. So I just reviewed Malcolm's goals that he did at the home group leader training with me, and out of those 4 areas, he has filled out his sheet marvelously. So out of those 4 areas, Malcolm, which of those goals would be the most pertinent that you'd like to work on?
I want to focus on the goal that's for our home group, which is to have a real community of believers that grow together in fellowship. And part of that is that they interconnect with each other outside of the home group as well as inside of the home group.
Okay, so when you put down your vision, what was your vision for connecting?
My vision was a real community of believers growing into the image of Christ together through fellowship, accountability, and continuing relationship.
Okay, and then in terms of a specific goal that you put down for the connecting?
Connect with members outside of the group to serve and fellowship with them.
Okay, so as we look at your goal, where do you see your group at right now in terms of that goal? And you've had a group, but you started a group last year, so this isn't entirely brand new, but you've incorporated some new group members,
Yes.
which may be slightly different than a group that's just starting off cold. So where would you say your group is at right now in terms of connecting?
Connecting within the group is fine. Connecting outside of the group is lacking right now.
So they're not necessarily contacting each other, giving each other calls. They're mainly, you're the hub.
Yes.
They come to you. They allow this to happen at group time, but no other time. So that's what's currently
Primarily,
going on.
that's true.
What are some of the options that you have available to help incorporate more connecting? What would be some possible things that you could collaborate with your group on, and suggestions you might have for them in terms of expanding those options?
Well, one thing would be, of course, calls during the week. And I mean, everybody probably makes the call, or should make the call, before group meets and says, "Hi, are you going to be a group this week? We look forward to seeing you. Remember, this is what we're going to be discussing." But contacting members of the group should be more than that, because if we're going to build community, we really need communication that's outside of group too. So sometime during the week, say a few days after group, you should be calling and seeing what's going on in their life if possible. It may just be leaving a message, but calling to encourage them is one of the major things. If they've asked you to hold them accountable on something, then you can participate in that through phone call too. The other thing would be trying to set aside time or make time where you can get together with for coffee with them, or maybe have lunch with them or something like that, or have them over. Doesn't have to be all of them, but if you can meet together individually, or if you're a couple, meet together as couples or something, and just get together to spend some time in fellowship, catching up, encouragement, etc.
Okay, so really, I heard three different things when you talked. You talked about calling them midweek. You talked about following up on any accountability issues that came up during group that maybe you had their permission to hold them accountable for. And then following up with meeting, certain group members for coffee during the week, just for an informal get-together outside of group time. One of the things I heard, though, in the first time you mentioned connection was helping the group make time for connecting outside of group time, which may mean group member to group member.
Yes,
How
that's
will you incorporate that into part of your emphasis in terms of helping them connect with each other?
Well, some of the team building you engaged with us last semester or last year would have been the act of getting together for a game night or something like that. And that's a good one to do. It doesn't always work with everybody's schedules, but you can do it with part of the group or the whole group. I think that's an important way to do that, but also encouraging them, if they feel comfortable with it, exchanging phone numbers and being able to call each other during the week. And that won't always, one thing you have to be careful with that is not having anybody feel too left out. It's okay that you form closer friendships, individual to individual, but there shouldn't be somebody that's kind of left out of that whole somebody's connecting with me thing.
Right.
Because you are the family of God, even though you're a little group, and people are different, have different personalities, but we all need to be able to love each other for who we are in Christ. So.
Well, and I love what you're trying to do, because you're trying to get the group members not just to be dependent upon you as the group leader, because say something happens to you, or you can no longer lead a group for some reason. You want them to develop interdependent relationships. And while it's hard to create a goal that is contingent upon what other people do, how will you make this a goal that you facilitate where you state it in such a way that it's what I will do this so that they hopefully will do this, because that's really all that you can control.
That's
and
right.
And so part of this coaching time is helping you state it in a way, what will you do, Malcolm, to help lead the people in your group to those interconnected relationships? So what might be one thing you could do this week of those different things that you mentioned? Several different things, but what are maybe one or two things that you will intentionally do this week to lead them into that?
Well, let's start with the easiest one, since that's probably what most people will do, and that's to call somebody a couple of days after, 2-3 days after you've met as a group, just to check in with them and see how they're doing and offer a word of encouragement. Tell them you're thinking of them. And that, even if you get no response there, that they don't call you back or something, you can still work on moving on to the other things. But that should be foundational, because they have to know you're thinking of them and caring about them.
And you're modeling it for them to do that.
That's
for other
right.
people. So anything else?
Beyond that, we've already given the beyond that. You said.